All right. My next thing is, well, it's actually kind of a combo. Our next thing on this one, Christian posted about a month ago on our forums regarding Deuteronomy and the verses that suggest that basically a rapist should, if he rapes a virgin, that his punishment is to marry her.
Right.
And her reward is to marry him, which is awesome. We put that up about a month ago. And we actually had some people come back on the forum, and you should go check it out, and argue with us about, no, it's not rape, it's consensual sex. And the people that were arguing with it actually even put other quotes from elsewhere in the Bible that actually show that there's a difference between consensual sex and rape. Because the other quote that they showed was that if a man entices a woman,
right,
then they should marry. Well, in the Deuteronomy, it's if a man take hold of the woman and is found, that's the other thing, if he's found to be raping her,
right,
because in most religions, women's testimony doesn't matter. But so if he's found raping her, he has to marry her. And they argued with us, okay? However, in Morocco last week, a 16-year-old girl killed herself because she had been forced to marry her rapist, who raped her when she was 15. And then also proceeded to abuse her in the relationship, which is why she finally killed herself. Now, this is not a biblical law particularly. It is a Middle Eastern tradition, which is tradition based on why it's in the Bible. I mean, it either comes from the Bible, the tradition, or the tradition was already there and the Bible wrote it in. But to argue with us that that Bible quote does not refer to rape, well, here we have the exact situation of that actually happening. So, to note, he raped her when she was 15, married her, and then she killed herself when she was 16. The family admitted that the victim sometimes agrees out of fear because she fears she won't be able to find a husband because she's raped, because virginity is so damned important in the Middle East. It even suggests, and then for the rapist, it also notes that the penal code allows the rapist to escape justice. Instead of being punished for the rape, instead of spending, I believe it's 5 to 10 years in prison, he can marry her. And that's actually what the court officials suggested from the beginning, that the marriage option, once the rape was reported. This article goes on to state that specifically. The court officials were suggesting that to the family that was raped, of the daughter that was raped, that she should marry this guy in order to avoid kind of all of this trauma. And because she had no other way of redeeming her honor. She was raped, her honor was gone. Mm-hmm. She was clearly this horrible person.
How enlightened.
The prosecutor advised my daughter to, this is the father speaking, the prosecutor advised my daughter to marry. He said, go and make the marriage contract. And this is because in many societies, the loss of a woman's virginity out of wedlock is a huge stain of honor on the family. It's just such a joke. I want to mention also, I'm sorry, this is in Morocco, and the girl's name was Amina Filali. And I mean, this is just so tragic, and we just want to note, we called this out in the Bible as how that could be translated as like a way to guide it. He also mentioned specifically that Jewish law and Jewish lawmakers translate it the same and have Jewish law that has this. This is in the Middle East, so it's separate from all of that. Yet here it is again. You're seeing that idea as being propagated as somehow moral, as somehow a good option.
In what reality? In what reality is it good that a woman should have to marry her abuser? I mean, really, because it's the reason is the way that it's being thought out is that it doesn't matter what damage has been done to her. Mm-hmm. This is a crime that the rapist has done against the family.
Right.
He's impugned the family's honor by taking her virginity away out of the bounds of wedlock. There's no mention about the suffering that she endured, mm-hmm. and then continued to endure, and then she killed herself because she's stuck in a society that says you have to marrying your rapist is the best option to make everything okay, because now you're married to the man who impugned your family's honor. It's like it doesn't forgive it all, but it makes it okay in our society's estimation. At least your husband is the man who took your virginity. You're not being put to another man who has to marry a woman whose virginity he didn't get to take. He didn't get his gift. He didn't get his first crack at you.
Well, and even now, this guy got off clean. He got to abuse and rape her continually during the marriage,
right.
And then now that now that they're married, it doesn't count as rape, but whatever. And then she kills herself, and so he's back on the market. I mean,
right.
He can go get another wonderful virgin,
right.
And her life is gone forever because of the things that this guy did.
What punishment has been put on him?
And she was given no opportunity to heal. She was given no chance to move on from this and have a life and marry somebody else and be happy. No, she had to be next to the guy that ruined her. And she must culturally view it the same way. The fact that she's just been not only violated by this guy,
right.
but now she's ruined for every man ever,
right.
forever. And then she has to marry him, and she gets no distance from him to heal. And apparently the family of the rapist actually treated her really, really poorly. Which is also another lovely thing.
Which I don't understand that, but
I want to mention too that the Young Turks also did a newscast on this recently, this specific Moroccan rape, and we'll try and provide a link to that. I definitely suggest you try and watch that on YouTube as well, because they do an excellent analysis of the actual incident, whereas we're kind of coming from a religious angle on it. In speaking of the religion, what I also want to add is that it notes here that in cases of rape, the burden of proof is often on the victim. If she can't prove that she's was attacked, she actually risks being prosecuted for debauchery.
Right.
And
Nice.
and apparently this guy actually initially refused to marry her until he was faced with prosecution. And then that's when he finally agreed to marry her, because the family was trying to do that as well. And Filali had said that she had complained to her mother that her husband was beating her repeatedly during the 5 months of marriage, but her mother told her to be patient. Because even the mother was like, this is the way our society works. This is the way our culture works. I mean, it's just tragic that the culture would be like that. I also want to note that specifically from the Quran, as far as like why the woman would be prosecuted for debauchery,
right.
Under Sharia law or whatnot, that the Quran specifically states that a woman's testimony is only worth half of a man's. That if those who accuse free women, if they do not bring 4 witnesses to prove that the woman is true in her claim, that the witnesses should be flogged. And
so who's going to come forward based on that notion?
Exactly.
Like if you have 3 witnesses and not 4, no one's going to come forward to speak for you. None of the 3 are being
what
flogged.
if you get 4 and then one backs out?
Exactly.
And it even states, it goes on to state in that same section of the Quran, this is section 24, chapter 24, verse 4, and then chapter 24, verse 13, it states, like, in a situation where Muhammad's, one of his wives, was being accused of something by 3 men, and he said, why did they not bring 4 witnesses of it? But as they have not brought witnesses, they are liars before Allah. Because if 3 people saw something and they come and talk about it, they're liars. But if 4 people come and saw something and came and talk about it, then they're telling the truth. So always make sure 4 people are present at any of your rapes that you might have or things like that. Make sure you have 4 people around, and make sure they're not the 4 people raping you. And also, just as another, like, I love you, Islamic people. Your Quran is so beautiful. It's just as bad as the Bible. This section, apparently chapter 2, verse 223. Your wives are as tilth unto you, so approach your tilth when or how you will. Lovely. Okay, so your wife is property.
Right.
And you should just, if you want sex, you should have sex. It doesn't matter if she's in the mood or any of that kind of thing.
Well,
or if you just had a fight with her or any of that. It doesn't matter.
That's much the standing of women in the Old Testament as well. I mean, it's par for the course, unfortunately. Women are so mistreated by the Abrahamic religions that it blows my mind to think that in the United States that there are women who are religious, period.
Yeah.
Because I can't, I mean, none of these texts have really anything nice to say.
Yeah, you're so thrown aside.
Yeah, but, that's your choice, not mine. But, man, I mean, I couldn't imagine trying to raise a daughter under this kind of context where her virginity is her only value.
Yeah.
And the idea that for 5 months in a marriage, her husband is beating her, and all her mother has to say to her is, be patient.
Yeah. And it's a 15-year-old girl. I don't know how old the guy was, but I believe he was over age, over 18 at least. And this is okay. Like, it's okay that he rapes and gets to marry this 15-year-old daughter. I mean, we call that pedophilia here, I mean, or at least statutory rape, basically. And it's like...
Well, statutory rape implies that she was willing, which in this
Right.
case doesn't sound like she
Thank
was.
you. Sorry, I did use that incorrectly. I mean, imagine if that was the case. You'd have people doing it on purpose here. Find the 15-year-old that they find the most attractive and that they want to have their children.
Right.
And just rape her. And then you get to marry her. She gets no choice in the matter. Like, what society functions that way?
So
This one, apparently.
So, but here's a question. Is this, in fact, a moral system given to us by a divine being, or is this just some medieval bullshit?
Yeah. This is your example of if you actually want to follow this good book. This is how it works. 15-year-old girls get raped and beaten, and then the only way out to save any sort of sanity is to kill themselves. That's from your book. That's if you want to follow it proper, this is what the result is.